Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Question 1. What is meant by simplicity and humility? Answer. Simplicity and humility means being informal and straight and having the least view about one's value. It means the absence of pride and the state of being simple. Question 2. Describe in a few sentences the lifestyle of Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the light of the text that you have read. Answer. Text shows the following lifestyle of Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was very simple and humble in his lifestyle. He ate simple food and put on coarse clothes. He never sought prominent or elevated place in gathering. People coming in had to ask who the Prophet was. Hazrat Aisha Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anha said, the mattress of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was made of leather stuffed with the fiber of date tree. Question 3. How can simplicity and humility do away with the culture of extravagance and waste? Answer. By adopting the qualities of simplicity and humility, we can easily eliminate the culture of extravagance and waste. Waste of money and extraordinary display of wealth result in so many problems. A man having the quality of simplicity and humility remains free from mental disturbance. It saves a man from financial disorder. Question 4. Read the last paragraph of the lesson Simplicity and Humility of Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam with comprehension and write down the main idea and supporting details of the paragraph. Answer. We can learn a lot from the flawless qualities of Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. By adopting the qualities of humbleness and simplicity, we can improve our lifestyle and eradicate the social evils like arrogance and ostentation. Simplicity and humility will enable us to lead a happy life. Simplicity and humility will also reform our societal behavior. Question 5. How did Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam treat his foster sister? Answer. Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to stand up to welcome his foster sister, and he also used to spread his own sacred sheet for her whenever she came to meet him. Question 1. What is the significance of the title The Champions? Answer. The title The Champion is very significant because the story is about a boxing fight and the winner of that fight has to represent Pakistan in the World Boxing Championship in the lightweight category. Question 2. What was the dream of Ahmad Ali and Gulsher? Answer. Ahmad Ali and Gulsher both had a dream of someday becoming a lightweight boxing champion of the world. Question 3. Why was the fight so important for both Ali and Gulsher? Answer. The fight was important for both Ali and Gulsher because the fight was actually for the selection of the player for the World Boxing Lightweight Championship. Both the boxers were fast friends and equal fighters. They both wanted to win it. Question 4. How did the two friends fight? Described in your own words in 5 sentences. Answer. It was a fierce fight. Both the friends fought toe to toe. They rushed towards each other like bulls and pounded blows on each other like hailstones. Ali continued to lash Gul hard. Gul's hand was also working like a piston, pumping hard punches on Ahmad Ali. Question 5. Compare and contrast the characters of Ali and Gul. Answer. They were bosom friends. Ali was shady, dark, short, well built and strong, while Gul was a Pushtun, fair, lean and tall. They were good boxers. Gul lean form and long reach made him a better boxer, while Ali's short and muscular frame made him a better fighter. They both didn't want to hurt each other. Question 6. Is there any conflict in the story? If yes, describe it in detail. Answer. Yes, the story has conflict in it. One conflict is the contest between two bosom friends. Other is mental conflict because both of them are confused to think about the final boxing contest in which they are going to fight each other. They both are restless to think about the effects of the fight on their friendship. Question 7. What was the effect of the fight on the relationship of the two friends? Answer. Both the boxers were both friends. They were greatly worried how to face each other in the fight, but they also knew that fight would not affect their friendship. They fought with courage, bravery, as they knew that the better man should win the contest. Question 8. Keeping in view the relationship of two friends, is it easier or harder for them to fight each other? Support your answer by giving references from the text. Answer. It is harder for them to fight each other because they were bosom friends. Before their fight, both of them are restless. Ali says, "Man, I do not know how to come out with it." Gul also says, "I have been thinking about it. I have been awake at nights pulling punches on you, trying not to hurt you." Question 9. Are you satisfied with the ending? Support your response with cogent argument. Answer. I am not satisfied with the ending of the story, The Champions, as they knew their friendship would not be affected by their fight, so they should have waited for the decisions of the judges. The loser should have congratulated the winner, and the winner should have encouraged the loser. The ending has left the reader unsatisfied. Question 1. Why is there no single and easy solution to the problem of population growth and its impact on environment? Answer. Actually, this problem is very complicated issue. A single and easy solution will not suffice. All options should be utilized, including awareness campaigns, reassessment of our consumption patterns, recycling of waste, and less use of resources. Question 2. How is the carrying capacity of Earth affected? Answer. Our Earth has the carrying capacity of 500 million to 1 trillion humans, and this carrying capacity is badly affected by population growth. If the population growth rate remains the same, then it would quickly reach to this capacity. And when human population would finally get this capacity, then there would be a great destruction for the whole earth. Question 3. Why does the population growth directly affect the environment? Answer. Population growth directly affects the environment because an increase in population means an increase in consumption of resources and producing more waste materials and water and air pollutants. Question 5. Look at example from the text population growth and its impact on environment that support an opinion. Answer. The first paragraph supports the opinion that population growth has direct impact on environment. The second paragraph supports the opinion that deforestation causes imbalance in environment. The third paragraph supports the opinion that urbanization affects environment and results in pollution of various kinds. Question 6. Keeping in view the population and the environment of your area, do you agree or not with the content of the lesson? Support your view with solid arguments. Answer. I absolutely agree with the content of the lesson because I notice the growing population of my area and the harm it causes to the environment. I see more houses, shops, business places and industries instead of green fields, forests, pastures and arable lands. Question 1. Where did Abdurrahman first import fruit trees and other plants from? Why? Answer. Abdurrahman first imported fruit trees and other plants from his former home, from where he escaped to southern Spain. Actually, he wanted to promote agriculture and recreate the glory and grandeur of Damascus, the capital of Islamic State, that is Syria. Question 2. What can we achieve again if we enkindle in ourselves the master passion, that is Ishq? Answer. If we enkindle in ourselves the master passions, that is Ishq, we can achieve once again the past glory and grandeur and the exalted state of moral and spiritual character. Question 3. What is the view of Iqbal about the Masjid of Cordoba? Explain his view in your own words. Answer. According to Iqbal, the Masjid of Cordoba is a symbol of faith. It is also a symbol of dominance of Islamic civilization in Europe. According to Iqbal, the very existence of the masjid is due to Ishq. The foundation of this masjid are everlasting and its columns are as countless as the palm trees in the deserts of Syria. Iqbal says the Masjid of Cordoba is eminent and beautiful. Question 4. What, in your opinion, is the significance of the Masjid of Cordoba to present day Muslims? Explain. Answer. The Masjid of Cordoba is a symbol of past glory and grandeur of Muslims and their dominance over Europe. It transports us to that golden age of Islam which provided enlightenment to the dark ages of Europe. It tells us that we, that is the Muslims, can achieve the lost position if we enkindle the exalted passion of Ishq in ourselves. Question 5. Why did Iqbal greatly appreciate a faraway masjid in Spain when there were superb buildings of Muslim era in subcontinent? Answer. Iqbal greatly appreciated the great masjid of Cordoba to tell to the present day Muslims the glory, strength and grandeur of Muslims and Islam in Europe. This masjid is actually the outstanding symbol of faith. Question 1. Why did the farmer decide to take his mother on the summit? Answer. The farmer decided to take his mother on the summit to abandon her there for some time. In this way, she had to die in isolation. Question 2. Why did the son hide her mother in the closet? Answer. The son hid his mother in the closet beneath the floor of the kitchen so that she might escape the possible death sentence announced for the aged people. Question 3. What does the phrase, "with the crown of snow there cometh wisdom" mean? Answer. The phrase, "with the crown of snow there cometh wisdom" means that wisdom comes with old age. Question 4. What is the theme of the aged mother? Answer. The theme of the story, The Aged Mother, is to show us importance of aged people who are more experienced and wiser than young people. Question 5. What is the climax of the story, The Aged Mother? Answer. The climax of the story, The Aged Mother, is that when the king orders to present him the rope of ashes and no one is able to find solution of this problem, everyone is in great distress. Question 6. Why did the farmer disclose his secret? Answer. The farmer disclosed his secret because he wanted to disclose the wisdom, importance and love of aged people before the leader. He also wanted to show the leader the power of wisdom over strength. Question 7. What are the elements of the story, The Aged Mother? Answer. The elements of the story, The Aged Mother, include characters, setting, plot, and moral lesson. Characters are a farmer, an aged mother, a governor, and governor's messengers. Setting is the town of Shinano. The story properly develops, giving us a very nice moral lesson. Question 8. What is the setting of the story? Answer. The setting of the story includes time and place. The place is a hut at the foot of the mountain in the town of Shinano, a town ruled by a despotic ruler. The days are barbarous, and the act of abandoning all people to die in isolation is not strange. Question 9. Why did the leader issue the proclamation? Answer. The leader issued the proclamation to put all the aged people to death in order to save his strength and rule. He considered all people dangerous for his despotic rule. Question 10. How does the poor youth feel about the proclamation? Answer. The proclamation filled the heart of the poor youth with sorrow and distress. Question 11. How did the youth carry out the order? Answer. The youth told the order of the governor to his old mother. She told the method of making rope of fishes. Thus he made a rope of twisted straws. Then he stretched it upon flat stones and burnt it. Thus he carried out the governor's order with the help of his old mother. Question 1. How did the Quaid-e-Azam empower and emancipate the Muslim women of the subcontinent? Answer. The Quaid-e-Azam brought about a social revolution in the emancipation and empowerment of the Muslim women. He stressed the importance of women as equal partners of men in the independence movement. For this purpose, he created All India Muslim Women's Subcommittee of the Muslim League. Question 2. How did Begum Fatima, the principal of Jinnah Islamia College, mobilize female students? Answer. Begum Fatima, the principal of Jinnah Islamia College, played a vital role in students' mobilization. She invited the Quaid to come and address the female students of her college in 1942. This address enhanced the participation of female students in the Pakistan movement. Question 3. Why did the Quaid stress the importance of women as equal partners of men in the creation of separate homeland for Muslims? Answer. Quaid-e-Azam stressed the importance of women as equal partners of men because Muslim women's participation was necessary for the creation of separate homeland for the Muslims of subcontinent. The Quaid said, if women support men, we will soon realize our goal of separate homeland. Question 4. Describe the role of women in Pakistan movement, highlighting their love and aspiration for the new homeland. Answer. Women of the subcontinent played a vital role in Pakistan movement. Fatma Jinnah was always at side by side of the Quaid-e-Azam, advising and participating in his political activities. By the mid-40s, a galaxy of women had emerged organizing and mobilizing women's workers. They include Jahanara Shahnawaz, Salma Tasadduq Hussain, Zari Sarfraz, Shaista Ikram, and Lady Abdullah Harun. They all visited various parts of the country and even held demonstrations in favor of Muslim League. Question 5. Analyze the third paragraph of the lesson and identify the sentences that support the main idea through cause and effect. Answer. Main idea. Women's role in Pakistan movement after Patna session. Supportive sentences to main idea. Quaid-e-Azam established Muslim Women's Subcommittee in 1938. A galaxy of women emerged organizing and mobilizing women workers by the mid of 40s. Some prominent names are Jahanara Shahnawaz, Salma Tasadduq Hussain, Zari Sarfraz, Shaista Ikram, and Lady Abdullah Harun. Question 1. What are the main sources of water in Pakistan? Answer. The main sources of water in Pakistan are glaciers, rainfalls, rivers, and underground water. Question 2. What are the river drainage systems of Pakistan? Describe them briefly. Answer. There are three river drainage systems in Pakistan. The Indus Basin River. The total area of the Indus Basin is about 365,000 square miles. The river Indus has both western and eastern tributaries. Its eastern tributaries are the Ravi, the Beas, the Chenab, the Sutlej and the Jhelum, while its western tributaries are the Swat River, the Khabar River, the Kurram River, the Tochi River, the Gomer River and the Yob River. We receive 141.67 million square feet of water from it. Closed basin, Haran Desert. The total area of this basin is 120,100 square kilometer. Its main rivers are Pishin Lora, Baddu Rakshan and Mashhel. Its main sources of water are rainfall and snow. We receive 4.5 million acre feet of water from it. Makran Coastal Basin. The total area of the Makran Coastal Basin is about 122,400 square kilometer. It consists of streams of Mulir, Hab, Poralai, Kud, Hingol, Nai, Mashai, Dasht, Nihang and Kech. Its main source of water is rainfall. We receive 0.78 million acre feet of water from it. Question 3. What are the main causes of water shortage in Pakistan? Discuss in detail. Answer. Pakistan ranks at the 7th position in the list of countries facing water shortage. The main causes of water shortage in Pakistan are as under. Population of Pakistan is increasing at the rate of 3.2%. It puts pressure on underground water. Constructions of dams by India over river Chenab and river Jhelum. Non-constructions of water reservoirs. Wastage of water. Low water storage capacity. Overpumping of underground water. Rapid depletion of groundwater. Question 4. Which measures can be taken to overcome water shortage in Pakistan? Answer. To overcome water shortage in Pakistan, we can take the following measures. Constructions of water reservoirs. Strict implementation of National Water Policy 2018. Control over wastage of water. Formation of National Action Plan for judicious use of water. Increase use of water efficient crops. Switching over from conventional agriculture to conservative agriculture. Adopting water efficient methods of irrigation. Question 5. What can you do on your own to contribute to conservation of water in your home and surroundings? Answer. We can do a lot to conserve water in our homes and surroundings. Some ways are given as under. We should check our house for leaks. We should turn off the faucet while brushing our teeth. We should take short showers. We should use less water for cooking, bathing, washing and lawn and garden watering. Question 6. What is the importance of building national reservoirs? Can you point out a spot in your area where small reservoirs can be built to benefit the local population? Answer. Water reservoirs are important because they provide water for domestic, industry and irrigation purposes. They also provide hydroelectric power production and river navigation. In our district Mansehra, some spots have been pointed out and work on constructions of small reservoirs is underway. Small reservoirs can be constructed on river Kunhar at various points. A small dam has already been constructed at Jabodi on the Siran River. Its water is being used for irrigation and power generation purposes. Question 1. What is gene and genetics? Answer. Gene is the subunit of DNA, the information database of any organism that is contained inside the cell nucleus. Genes transmit character traits of parents to their offspring. Question 2. Why is the discovery of gene called a game changer in biological sciences? Answer. The discovery of gene is called a game changer in biological sciences because it led to the development of genetics and the process of genetic engineering through which genetically modified plants and animals are produced. It makes organisms resistant to diseases. It can help in eradication of many hereditary diseases. Question 3. What is genetic engineering? What role does genetic engineering play in producing genetically modified organisms? Answer. Genetic engineering is the process of manipulation of an organism's genes directly by transplanting DNA from other organisms in its cells. It plays a key role in producing genetically modified organisms. It has helped in the durability and quality of tomatoes and beans. The commercial production of human insulin is another wonder of genetic engineering. Question 4. Name some GMOs and describe their characteristics by showing how they are different from naturally occurring organisms. Answer. Starlight Aviator is the first genetically engineered plant that lights up like fireflies without ultraviolet lighting. Tomato is modified fruit which develops mature flavor and stay on vines for longer time. Fatty soya beans is modified for containing less fat. A cat's DNA is altered to glow in the dark. Transgenic cows are developed to produce milk containing antimicrobial enzymes and immunity providing proteins. Question 5. Write at least 2 merits and 2 demerits of GMOs. Answer. Merits of GMOs. Eradication of hereditary diseases, increased resistance to diseases, larger yield and greater nutritional contents. Demerits of GMOs: unpredictability of the behavior of altered genes. GMOs may take some unwanted characteristics causing harm to our health, environment or ecosystem. Question 6. What in your opinion will be the effect of GMOs on our lives, lifestyle and environment in future? Answer. GMOs can affect human lifestyle and environment in future. A genetically modified plant may be less vulnerable to some insects, but it can take another unwanted characteristics. It can prevent one disease but may cause many other diseases. It can cause kidney and liver problems. GMOs plants or animals could interbreed with wild population, which creates population explosions. GMOs can produce offspring with dangerous traits which can harm the delicate ecosystem. The main concerns about GMOs is the unpredictability of the behavior of altered genes. Question 7. Have you ever used genetically modified foods? Give your suggestion and solutions for the safe use of genetically modified foods. Answer. Yes, we have used genetically modified foods because they are now prevalent in supermarkets. We do not distinguish which one is pure and which one is modified because manufacturers are not required to label foods as having been made from GMOs. Suggestion and solution for the safe use of GMOs food. GMOs food should be tested when they come into market. GMOs food should be labeled before they bring into market. Without the permission of the higher authorities, neither GMOs food should be manufactured nor they be brought into market. Question 1. Why did Hazrat Umar Farooq Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu deposit the jewels given by the Empress of the Rome to Hazrat Umar's Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu wife in the Baitul Mal? Answer. The bottles of perfumes for which jewels were presented were considered the wealth of the subjects by Hazrat Umar Farooq Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu. That is why the jewels were deposited in the Baitul Mal by Hazrat Umar Farooq Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu. Question 2. Hazrat Umar Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu was one of those people who served the new religion with singleness of purpose. Describe the services of Hazrat Umar Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu to Islam in the context of this statement. Answer. Hazrat Umar Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu entered the fold of Islam at the age of 27. He took part in many battles for the survival of Islam. He devoted his whole life for the service of Islam. He made no distinction between the ruler and the ruled. His foremost concern was unstinted services to humanity. He used to roam about at night, often undercover, to acquaint himself with the condition of his people. The Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam described the importance of Hazrat Umar Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu in these words. If Allah had wished that there should have been another Nabi after me, he would have been none other than Umar Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu. Question 3. Humility and simplicity were the hallmarks of Hazrat Umar Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu rule. Support this view by giving evidences from the given text. Answer. Hazrat Umar Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu led a very simple life. His standard of living was in no case higher than an ordinary man. He wore coarse dress and ate coarse food. He drew only an ordinary honorarium to meet his ordinary necessities of life. Once the envoy of the Roman emperor visited him in Medina. At that time, Umar Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu was lying on the bare floor of the masjid. The envoy was astonished to see such a great caliph in such simple condition. Question 4. Why did Hazrat Umar Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu not eat wheat bread? Answer. Hazrat Umar Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu did not eat wheat bread because it was not available to each and every common person living in his vast dominions. Question 5. How did Hazrat Umar Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu ensure his own accountability and the accountability of his governors before the public during his government? Answer. A common man had an easy access to Hazrat Umar Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu, and everyone was free to question his actions. Once a person in a public meeting protested against him. People wanted to silence him, but Hazrat Umar Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu allowed him to speak. Every governor had to sign a bond on his appointment that he would lead simple life, and all people would have an easy access to his presence at any time. Question 1. What was Hugh's financial status? Answer. Hugh was once a successful tea merchant, but a slump in tea trade badly affected his business, and then he did not even have £10,000 to marry Lara Martin. Question 2. What condition was laid down by the colonel for Hugh's marriage to his daughter? Answer. The colonel laid down the condition for Hugh's marriage to his daughter that Hugh should have £10,000, and then this matter would be considered seriously. Question 3. Was Ellen a good painter? What makes you think that? Answer. Yes, Ellen was a good painter. He was a real master of his art because his beautiful and perfect pictures were eagerly sought after. Question 4. Describe the role of Colonel Martin in the story. Would you describe him as a negative character or not? Why? Answer. Colonel Martin was a high-profile man, and when he saw the thriving business of Hugh, he at once agreed to give his daughter's hand in engagement. But later on, he refused the marriage of Hugh with his daughter Lara Martin. because now Hugh was a poor man having lost his tea trade. He was a worldly man and gave preference to money over his words. All these facts show that Colonel Martin was a negative character. Question 5. Draw the character sketch of Erskine Hugh in the story The Model Millionaire. Answer. Hugh Erskine was a French aristocrat. He was soft-hearted, well-mannered and good-looking man with brown curly hair and grey eyes. He was a popular man in his circle because of his good demeanor, gentle heart and unaffected plainness. Once he was a successful tea merchant, but a slump in tea trade badly affected his business. Question 6. Describe the climax of the story in your own words. Also present a sketch of how you would have ended the story had you been the writer. Answer. The climax in the story comes when Hugh comes to know the reality of the beggar. He considers himself a duffer in the eyes of the beggar. In the climax, Hugh tells Travel that he has given him a sovereign. Hugh goes home unhappy, leaving Ellen Travel in fits of laughter. The end of the story is superb, but if I had been a writer, I would end the story by visiting Baron Habsburg with Colonel Martin. In my ending, the Baron Habsburg would secretly fulfill Colonel Martin's conditions of marriage, and Erskine would know this secret after his marriage with Lara Martin. Question 7. What is the theme of the story, The Model Millionaire? Answer. One must have the kindness of heart is the theme of the story, The Model Millionaire. Kindness shown to others pays in the end. This story also teaches that the rich people must know the proper ways to expend their wealth to help other needy people. It will give them spiritual satisfaction.